algorithm decided what you watched last night. A different algorithm shaped every ad you saw while you watched it. The car you drove to work is increasingly managed by software that learns. The hotel you booked for your next holiday was priced by AI before you arrived at the search page. And the job interview you have next week, the first person to read your CV was a machine.
5 industries, all of them personal, all of them touching your daily life in ways most people don't fully realize, and all of them raising questions that go well beyond efficiency and ROI.
Welcome to the Season 3 recap of AI at Work. If you're new here, this is your catch-up. If you watched the whole season, this is everything in one place. I'm Oliver.
I'm Olga. Anastasia and Sophia take it from here.
Season 1 covered regulated industries: banking, insurance, healthcare, energy. Season 2 went mainstream: retail, logistics, legal, cybersecurity, agriculture, real estate. Season 3 gets personal: the industries that shape your identity, your career, your car, your holiday, and every story you consume. 5 industries, all personal. And one thesis that runs through every single one: AI is no longer happening to industries. It is happening to you, shaping what you experience, what you're offered, how you're evaluated, and what you're allowed to discover. The question is not whether that's happening. It is happening. The only question is whether it happens with your awareness and your consent or without. Media. One number: 80%. That's the share of content you actually watch on Netflix that was directed toward you by the recommendation AI. Not suggested, watched. The algorithm is the world's most powerful cultural editor. Generative AI is creating music that charts in 3 countries with listeners who had no idea it was AI. A song generated by Suno reached the top 20 on Spotify. Half the listeners who found out were unbothered. Half were furious. That split is the entire debate about AI and creativity in miniature. Disney and Marvel are de-aging actors with AI that would have required months of VFX work 5 years ago. Adobe Firefly means a solo editor can now do what required a team of specialists. The production tools have been democratized. The catch? Deepfakes of any person can be generated without consent. Voice cloning requires 3 seconds of audio. The FBI received over 20,000 reports of voice clone fraud in 2024 alone. The EU AI Act requires synthetic media disclosure. The US has no equivalent federal law. The technology runs far ahead of the guardrails.
Marketing. The number is 41%, the increase in email click-through rates from AI personalization. For a brand sending 10 million emails a month, that's 400,000 additional clicks per campaign, per month, from a better subject line. Amazon generates 35% of its revenue from the AI recommendation engine. Every major brand's marketing team is using generative AI for content. Coca-Cola reimagined their iconic Holidays Are Coming campaign with AI at a fraction of the traditional production cost. Campaigns that took months now take days. The catch is the other side of that data coin. The same AI that serves you relevant ads can now infer your psychological vulnerabilities, your financial stress, your health anxiety, your relationship status from your browsing behavior. And it uses those inferences to target you. The person struggling financially gets payday loan ads at their worst moment. Surveillance pricing charges you more because the AI predicts you'll pay it. The FTC is investigating. The EU is regulating. Because when personalization becomes exploitation, someone has to draw the line.
Automotive, 20 million miles. That's how far Waymo's autonomous vehicles have driven with no safety driver. No human in the vehicle ready to take over. On public roads, in real traffic, in rain, at night, in the controlled chaos of a San Francisco intersection. The question is no longer whether AI can drive. It demonstrably can. Waymo's safety data shows significantly fewer accidents per mile than the human average. Mercedes-Benz received the world's first legally approved Level 3 certification. Tesla has over 600,000 vehicles feeding training data back to improve the model continuously. In manufacturing, BMW's AI quality vision reduces defect rates by 30%. Generative design produces structural components 44% lighter than conventional engineering. Your next car is more software than steel, updated by AI overnight, genuinely better tomorrow than the day you drove it off the forecourt. The catch. One autonomous vehicle fatality generates more regulatory response than 10,000 human driver fatalities. The liability question, who is responsible when AI causes a fatal accident, is still being decided in courts in multiple countries. And a car with 40-plus software-defined systems and a cellular connection is a cybersecurity attack surface that simply didn't exist a decade ago.
Travel, 40 seconds. That's how long it takes Delta's AI to rebook hundreds of passengers, reserve hotel rooms, issue ground transport vouchers, and send updated itineraries when a flight is canceled. What used to take human operations teams hours now happens before most passengers have noticed their flight is delayed. Booking.com, SAI evaluates 2.4 million listings against your specific preferences, your rating history, review language, filter choices, to predict which property you'll rate most highly. AI trip planning is getting genuinely good. Dynamic pricing means no two people on the same flight pay the same price. A hotel in Paris might be running 100 different price variations simultaneously. Airlines using advanced revenue management AI generate 12 to 15% more ancillary revenue. The efficiency gains are real. The catch is, what happens when that efficiency meets a person in crisis? The parent whose child is hospitalized, searching for the first available flight, is the person being charged the most. The same AI that makes travel convenient is making it extractive at the moments of greatest vulnerability. Personalized pricing without transparency is not smart economics. It is exploitation. And the EU, under GDPR and the Package Travel Directive, is beginning to say so explicitly.
HR. This is the most important episode in season 3, and possibly in this entire series. 75% of large companies use AI in their hiring process. Your CV has probably already been read by an algorithm before any human saw it. Unilever screens 60,000 applicants per year with AI, cutting the process from 4 months to 4 weeks. IBM's Workforce Analytics predicts 95% of employee departures up to 12 months in advance. These are extraordinary capabilities. Skills-based hiring, AI, IBM pioneered this by removing degree requirements and evaluating demonstrated capabilities instead of credentials, has the potential to dramatically expand economic opportunity for people who don't have conventional educational backgrounds. That is genuinely exciting. The catch is the most sobering in the series. Amazon's recruitment AI, trained on 10 years of successful hires in a male-dominated workforce, taught itself to penalize CVs containing the word women's chess club, women's leadership program, women's rugby team. Entirely emergent, entirely unintentional. The model was doing exactly what it was designed to do: find patterns that predict success. The patterns it found were the patterns of discrimination. Amazon scrapped it in 2017, but the conditions that produced it, historical workforce data that reflects past discrimination, AI trained to replicate historical patterns, exist at virtually every major employer. 60% of knowledge workers are AI monitored. Most don't know what's being measured or how it's used. When AI makes decisions about who gets hired, who gets promoted, and who gets managed out, the stakes are the highest in any industry we have covered.
5 numbers. 80% Netflix, plus 41% marketing email CTR, 20 million miles Waymo, 40 seconds Delta, 95% IBM HR. These are not forecasts. They are not projections. They are already happening in the services you use every single day. Not in some technology company's research lab, In your living room, your inbox, your car, your hotel, and your next job interview.
Across 5 very different industries, one pattern appeared in every single episode. AI learns from history. And if that history was biased, discriminatory, brittle, or incomplete, the AI faithfully reproduces those qualities at scale, consistently, and at a speed no human system could match. Algorithmic monoculture in media, where AI optimizing for engagement systematically promotes content that provokes strong reactions, reshaping political discourse and cultural norms. Psychological manipulation in marketing, where AI that knows your vulnerabilities uses them against you rather than serving you. The automotive liability gap. No agreed global framework for who is responsible when AI causes a fatal accident. Surveillance pricing in travel. The same data that predicts your preferences being used to extract the maximum price the AI thinks you'll pay. And hiring discrimination at scale in HR. AI amplifying historical bias across millions of decisions, more systematically and more invisibly than any human decision maker ever could. The technology is powerful. The guardrails, human oversight, explainability, bias auditing, continuous retraining, legal accountability are what separate a tool that helps everyone from one that entrenches inequality. Every single episode, the same conclusion.
5 safeguards appeared across all 5 episodes. They are not complex, they are not expensive. They are simply the minimum conditions for deploying AI responsibly in industries that affect people's lives. 1. Human oversight on consequential decisions. AI can shortlist, assist, and recommend. A human must decide anything that affects someone's economic life, safety, or rights. 2. Bias auditing as standard practice. Every AI system used in hiring, pricing, content recommendation, or safety decisions must be regularly tested for discriminatory outcomes before deployment and continuously thereafter. 3. Mandatory transparency. Consumers, employees, and citizens have the right to know when AI is making decisions about them, and they have the right to a meaningful explanation, not legal boilerplate, but a real answer. 4. Consent-first data architecture. Use only data people have explicitly consented to for the purpose they consented to, not the maximum data technically available. 5. Continuous retraining. AI trained on historical data fails when the world changes. Models must be monitored and updated continuously. Not once at deployment, continuously. 5 safeguards, 5 episodes, 1 conclusion.
AI is no longer happening to industries. It is happening to you. Shaping what you watch, what you're offered to buy, how your car drives, what your holiday costs, and whether you get the job. The question is not whether this is happening. It is happening. The question is whether you are aware enough of it to demand it be done well.
What all 5 episodes have in common technically is the same 4-layer architecture. Your data, every click, search, purchase, pause, job application, and performance review feeds into a model trained on historical patterns. The model makes decisions: what content to serve you, what price to charge, whether to hire you. Those decisions generate more data, which trains the model further. The flywheel that makes AI so powerful is identical in media, marketing, automotive, travel, and HR. What's different is the nature of the decision being made and the stakes attached to getting it wrong.
Where does season 4 go?
5 directions we haven't fully explored. Healthcare, AI, foundation models reading scans, AI drug discovery, robotic surgery, where AI decisions are most literally life or death. Financial services, algorithmic trading, AI credit scoring, central bank digital currencies, AI reshaping how money moves globally. Climate and energy, AI for carbon market verification, grid optimization, climate modeling, the technology that must help solve the defining challenge of the century. Retail supply chain 2.0, autonomous warehouses and agentic logistics networks, the next level beyond season 2. And public sector, AI in government, AI-generated political content, algorithmic policymaking, the most politically charged AI deployment of all.
Tell us in the comments which one Season 4 should cover first. Your answer shapes what we build next.
The regulatory response to Season 3 AI is moving faster than most people realize. The EU AI Act classifies AI in employment, credit decisions, and biometrics as high risk. Mandatory human oversight, transparency, and the right to explanation are legally required, not optional. GDPR and the Digital Services Act require explicit consent for personalized advertising and genuine explanation of algorithmic decisions. The algorithm decided is not an acceptable answer. New York City's Local Law 144 requires mandatory bias audits of AI hiring tools before deployment, the first law of its kind in the world, with multiple U.S. states now following. The FTC is actively investigating surveillance pricing practices. NIS2 requires AI-specific incident reporting for critical infrastructure, including automotive and travel. The regulation is coming. The question for every organization deploying AI in these industries is whether they are building toward those standards now or waiting to be forced.
Oliver, Season 3 in one sentence.
AI is no longer happening to industries. It is happening to you, shaping what you experience, what you're offered, how you're evaluated, and what you're allowed to discover. The only question is whether it happens with your awareness and your consent or without.
Season 4. Tell us what you want us to cover. Every comment shapes what we build next.
I'm Oliver.
I'm Olga. Thank you for Season 3 of AI at Work.
If you've made it to the end of Season 3, thank you. Genuinely. Subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell so you don't miss all next episodes.
And leave us a comment. Healthcare, financial services, climate, retail 2.0, public sector. Which one should we do first and which subtopic?